One time, my kids and I had to stay for a few nights at a small guest house in Savannah, Georgia. I remember personally locking our room door with the heavy key the owner had given me. The kids fell asleep right away, but I couldn't. I tossed and turned, restless, unable to shake the strange feeling in that room. And then I heard it, the door opening. I was facing the wall, my back to the door. Slowly, I turned around, and there she was. An older woman stepped inside, carrying a tray. To this day, I can picture her clearly. Short, with a neat old-fashioned bun of gray hair, glasses perched on her nose, a shawl draped across her shoulders, and a plain but long dress that brushed her ankles. She didn't look at me. She just walked past my bed toward the window.
That's when I noticed something impossible. There was a table by the window, but I knew without a doubt there hadn't been any table there before. And around that table sat 6 men. They wore nothing but bathrobes and towels, their hair damp as if they'd just come from a steam room. They were arguing, shouting at each other, voices sharp and angry. The old woman placed the tray before them and then turned and came straight toward me. She leaned down, so close I could see the fine lines around her eyes, and whispered, "Why did you even come here?" That was the moment real terror hit me. I knew the door had been locked. I knew no one could have entered. Yet this woman, this thing, was as real as the bed I was lying on. The men at the table turned toward me, their faces twisted with fury. They started shouting, their voices overlapping in angry tones I couldn't make out. One of them slammed his fist down and stood up, eyes burning with rage, and began moving toward me. My only thought was of my children. I was terrified they would be harmed. I squeezed my eyes shut and began whispering the Lord's Prayer over and over, though I'd never been much of a believer before that night. I must have prayed like that for half an hour, never daring to open my eyes. When I finally did, the room was empty. The table, the men, the old woman, gone. For a while, I still thought I heard faint voices like echoes in the walls, but then the prayer drowned them out, and at some point, the sounds simply faded. By morning, I had made up my mind. We were leaving. When I went downstairs to tell the innkeeper we were checking out early, I couldn't help myself. I asked if anyone had ever died in the house. The woman gave me a long, weary look, then sighed heavily. Back in the 90s, she said, this place wasn't a guest house. The basement was a bathhouse. One night, 6 men passed out from the steam and never woke up. There was also an older woman here, filling in for her daughter. She died too. Her face was calm, unsurprised. That's when I realized I probably wasn't the first guest to ask her this question. I pressed her, and she admitted it. A few times each year, people saw apparitions in that part of the house. Others reported lights flickering on and off with no explanation. I asked her why she didn't just sell the property, and she gave a little shrug. "Nobody's gonna pay what I did for it. Not worth the loss," she said. Then, almost cheerfully, she added, "Don't worry, they don't usually show up 2 nights in a row." But I knew better. How could anyone sleep in that room again? We found another place across town. Even so, the memory of that night has never left me.